Welcome back to the Poison Touch Advice Hour. I'm your host, Jake. Wait, no, that's not what I say. Hold on. What do I say? Welcome back to the Poison Touch Advice Hour, the podcast where a gay and his boyfriend give you all the best and worst advice to deal with all of life's predicaments. I'm your host, Jake. There, now it's in order.
There we go.
I'm your host, Jake, and we draw. Oh my God, I'm nervous today, y'all. I'm nervous. I do this every month. Why am I so nervous? I'm joined today, like I said, by my boyfriend, John. John, how the hell are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to... I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm nervous to be on here. You've been asking me for a while, and I tend to think of myself as more of a, I don't know. I don't like to say much. I'm a little bit more quiet. I like to listen more than speak. So to be on the thought of a podcast kind of intimidates me because it's just all talking. So
I think you have wonderful things to say.
But no, I'm excited. It's fun.
Good. I think you'll do fine.
Yeah.
I think you give good advice.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, do you want to tell the people about yourself, or do you want me to tell the people about you?
We could do both.
Okay.
I don't. Not much about me to say, I guess. I mean, I'm John.
I'll start off.
Right,
John is a man of fewer words.
Yeah.
He is he's a man of efficiency. Stop moving that. It's gonna come out on the recording. John is a man of efficiency. Few words. Where I can talk for hours and hours on end, he can do a full vow of silence for days on end. What was the longest you went without speaking? Didn't you go on some trip and you just didn't speak?
No, that's soon. I would like to. It's called a Vipassana.
Oh, okay.
And you go away for a good 10 days, and it's just pretty much meditating all day, and you don't speak really. I think at night you can, but most of the day you're just meditating, not talking. And to me, that sounds wonderful.
And to me, that sounds terrible. John and I complement each other, but we are very much not similar people, which I enjoy.
Yeah, me too.
Because I can fill a room. I can talk.
Yeah, I would hate to date someone like me. I think it'd be the most boring thing. That would drive me crazy.
Would you just sit there and blink at each other?
Pretty much.
Bring, bring.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. So I think we're a good pairing.
All right, good. Great. That's what he's supposed to say. Okay. What else can I say about you? John stumbled in. No, not stumbled in. He walked into the bar. He walked into the bar that I was working at, where I was being exploited for my good work ethic as a bartender, server, DJ, everything except for a manager, because when they kept asking me to be a manager, I kept telling them no, because I didn't want to deal with them any more than I had to.
Yeah, that place was a mess.
It was. It's the worst. But it's where I met you, so it's not the worst for everything.
Yeah.
And you had tamales in one hand.
Oh, yeah. No, that's right.
And were you just shopping?
No, I had a buddy who was flying in from California, and he wanted to go shopping around for some Chicago stuff. So there's some places in Wicker Park that have some good, just Chicago things you could buy. I was like, all right, here's some stuff. He left on the train, and I was like, well, I don't know, I still have time. Let me go get a beer, hang out a little bit. It was a nice day. And then randomly, of all the places I could have gone to in Wicker Park, I went for the first time to where you were working, and
it was a very slow day.
That just drew me in because I've never been there before. I had no business being around there.
It was
for
like
any reason.
pheromones.
Maybe. And then we just kind of met and exchanged info,
and I was about to leave. I was about to leave.
Yeah, your shift was ending. Yeah,
my shift was ending. It was a very slow day. I think I had one table. I had one or two tables, slow. And then you at the bar. And I think you were the only person at my bar top.
Yeah.
And I was about to leave. My shift was over. I was about to go work out too. And my coworker was like, I think that guy's flirting with you. I was like, you think? I don't think so. Really? He's like, I think so. He's like, you should stay and get a drink with him. Don't worry, I got you. Go have your shift drink, bitch. I was like, I don't know. I got to go get my workout in.
I did think you were leaving. Because you were all like, all right, shift's over. I'm out of here. Boom. And then all of a sudden, you're sitting next to me. I was like, oh, I guess he's sticking around.
And then I got my shift drink.
You got your shift drink?
Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure he made me a really big margarita. Not in a rocks glass. He put it in a tall glass. It was a very large margarita.
Was it?
Because I know when I left, after we exchanged Instagrams, I went home and I was very tipsy. I did not make it to the gym that day.
Wow.
I went home, I laid in bed, and I knocked out for a couple hours. I remember that specifically. Like, I was tipsy.
Well, you're not much of a drinker. You stay pretty light. But shit, he made it that strong.
Yes, he made it very strong. It was good because I lived in stumbling distance of my apartment. So I literally just I think I grabbed food and I waltzed home and knocked out.
That's how we met.
Yeah, that's how we met. They say, what drew you to Jake? Drinks, because I was the bartender. I was the one serving him.
Yeah, I mean, you mean like when I went to his bar, or like what I stick? Well, let's just say that. Let's just say that.
I think they
like why did I stick around? I don't know. He was just easy to talk to, and I think it's that natural thing where you just kind of fall into conversation and you're enjoying it, and it's
singing my praises.
Yeah, you're enjoying it. He's cute. I'm like, all right, this guy's cute. I'm gonna stick around. Like, I didn't really have anywhere to go either, so I'm like, there was nothing like pushing me to leave, and I'm like, well, this guy's cute. I'm having fun here. Let me stick around. I'll take another beer. Why not? And then after all that, it was like, yeah, let's exchange info, and really at that point, it was just like, yeah, let's exchange Instagram and hang out sometime outside of your job, and if things work out from there, not even necessarily work out, like. I wasn't looking for anything. I don't think you were either. It was just like, this person's cool. We hang out. If not, whatever.
And the next time he saw me, I was really high. I smoked in my car. I walked back into I didn't know he was coming. And then he messaged me. He was like, I'm in the neighborhood. Do you want to hang out? And I was like, I'm at Charlie's. Fine.
Yeah.
So I was really high that day. And I also don't smoke.
But even still, even with you in that high state, I mean, I feel like we still had fun. Like, we were still just... Conversate. You don't even remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was that. I think that's what it was. It's just a natural connection. It's natural. It's easy to get along and hang out.
It's very chill,
and it's been like that since day one.
So. There were like no expectations. It was very lax. Came with the wind.
Exactly.
All right, enough of the love fest. We got questions to answer. We got bullshit to get into, and we have problems to solve. All right. Wait, they say, how do you feel about Jake waiting 7 months? No, because it wasn't me. It was both of us. This is a misnomer with the girls in the Discord. It wasn't just me waiting. It was both of us. We both took a very slow and steady approach before deciding to make dating official.
Yeah, I was like really, at some point I was really liking you, and I was like, man, this could actually work, but nope, I don't want to be official because I like being single. I enjoy my life. I have a chill life. And if someone's going to enter into my life in a more serious capacity, you better have something to add to it. Don't be causing no drama, no nothing. And I think we both were on that same page. And we're like, yeah, let's just make sure that this person isn't crazy before we make things serious. And we did. We were both on the same page with that, and it just kind of worked out. So.
Yep.
But yeah, it took us a while because we met in October.
Yes.
Early October, and then it wasn't until July. It's going to be a year.
Yeah.
It wasn't until July of last year that we decided to actually date seriously and be like, all right, we're a dating thing. So.
And now he lives here.
Yeah. That's wild to me.
I know.
Never lived with anyone in my life, so this is a huge. It's weird, but it's going good so far. Yeah. Not weird in a bad way. It's just weird for me.
It is weird.
A new thing.
I'm like, oh my God, there's someone else here.
Yeah. It's
been me and the rat for so long. And now I'm like, oh my God, there's a third person here. Yeah. I wonder what Fubu thinks about it. Like, does the rat...
He don't care as long as he's getting fed.
Yeah, but I wonder if he sees that as an opportunity to get fed.
Oh.
Because he's been more vocal lately.
Yeah.
He has been more vocal. Like, if we're... Like, the way he howled the other day when I moved his hay over to lock it in place and he started screaming at me.
You know what's funny, though? He doesn't... so when I get up for work, he does not get up and
oh, because he knows he won't get fed.
Feed him. Yeah, he knows.
He won't get fed until I get my ass up.
Yeah, exactly. Which is funny. So he knows I'm not feeding him in the morning. But anyways.
Okay, yeah. Into these questions.
Yeah.
We're actually starting off something of a question and an update. Quupdate. No, that's not the word. Anyways, This is from, if you remember a couple months ago, we had a question about self-esteem. And so this person wrote back in, and they say, this is from self-esteem, esteem of self, dot, dot, dot. It's a general advice question and also an update. They write, a while back, there was a question about relying on others for self-esteem. I want to ask advice on how to do that. Recently, I have gotten back on the apps after feeling meh about myself, and I am getting attention from people who I consider to be very attractive. I'm feeling better about myself, but I am also aware that this will eventually make me feel bad when the attention stops. So, I know it's bad to get self-esteem from others, but how should I go about getting some self-esteem for myself? So the question came from the episode with Devante. We had a really good conversation about self-esteem and loving yourself. And getting on the apps is a very quick way to get self-esteem, but you are self-aware enough at least to know that it will eventually stop. Because I feel like apps like Tinder and Grindr are just, whenever there's a fresh face on there, you know, like your attention will surge for like 2-3 weeks, maybe like a month tops, right? Before it hits a point, and then you just get hit up by whomever's hitting you up, you know? So it's definitely not sustainable self-esteem.
Yeah, I think it's extremely short-lived, and I almost think that it's the exact opposite of a place to go to for any sort of esteem, because it's short-lived. It's not it's not, there's really no substance there. I think people are just in it for a picture and maybe a couple cute words, and then boom, you're gonna get ghosted, or you're gonna, I don't know, even if you do meet someone and things go well for a day or a week or a month or two, it's over eventually, I think. And that's me being a little biased. Like, I've been off the apps for a long time, even before meeting you. For that reason, I just found them to be, I don't know, they just kind of got boring after a while, and just found it seemed more fun to just meet people face to face. And I think that, you know, being able to meet someone face to face, kind of going outside of your comfort zone, that helps build self-esteem. Rather than just the quick and easy on an app, turn it off, done. That doesn't really do anything. So this one, if you're asking, how do I, you know, build some self-esteem for yourself, I think maybe not even like really putting any of that into another person. I think that's kind of where this whole thing is geared towards, is looking to other people for that. And I say look for it within yourself, and that's not easy to do. But again, that's where I find kind of putting yourself out there, getting outside of your comfort zone, getting more acquainted with who you are, that sort of thing. I think over time that helps to build levels of self-esteem. And I say that only out of experience. Like, I really enjoy doing things alone, traveling alone, and it's scary sometimes. But by the end of it, when you come out of it, you're like, dang, I did that. That was good. Good for me. Pat on my own back. You know,
John,
didn't need anybody for that.
You're
just
like
my damn self.
You're a pro at kind of doing things alone.
Alone, yeah.
You are a self-described loner,
big time,
but not in like a negative sense. Fully, I would say, not like he's a loner, he's gonna, you know, shoot somebody. Loner in the sense that like you don't rely on others.
Yeah.
You are able to go out and do things alone. So I feel like building self-esteem for yourself is probably something that you came acquainted with very early on.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I also want to say, this is like, if you are not in a town with a big gay population, it's obviously going to be harder for you to meet people in public if that's something that you wanted to try out. So if you are like out in the sticks and you don't have access to queer community, and the apps are kind of like all that you have, I would more so recommend, you know, because you know this attention isn't going to last all the time. I would recommend, first off, listening back to the conversation that Devante and I had, because we covered a lot of the stuff in there. But for me, like, building self-esteem is a very slow process. It was a mix of like, you know, looking myself in the mirror and finding things to like about myself. It was being in the gym and letting those endorphins hit. It was doing things that felt good to me, when I was playing games that I liked, that I was really good at, when I was, you know, editing things and I felt good about how I was editing, doing things that made me feel good, not just pleasure wise, but felt good because I'm putting work into it and that work is rewarding.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because you're doing stuff that matters to you, that's meaningful. And again, that's still getting acquainted with yourself, learning more about yourself, and letting that blossom.
Any activity where like you finish it, you're like, I did the damn thing. That's the type of thing that I'm talking about.
Exactly.
And even if that means like going outside of your comfort zone and doing things that could constitute that, like rock climbing. Like rock climbing was something that I was like, I'm gonna be terrible at this.
That threw my self-esteem down so hard.
What do you mean? That was totally a self-esteem builder for me. No, I was great, like, this is difficult, but I was like, I think we're doing it. We're doing the damn thing.
Because I went in there thinking I was so much stronger than I was. I was like, oh, I'm gonna nail this. And but by the second or third wall, I was exhausted and sore. I was like, dang.
But it felt like.
But I'm kidding. Yeah, no, it was like a lot of fun. I had a blast.
It was a good time.
That was a really good time. I'm really glad we did that. But yeah, I just thought I was a lot stronger than I was. But no, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, self-esteem is just such a fraught thing to build. It can take, like months to build it up, and then it could come crumbling down so fast. And I think it's all something that helps keep it up is being really intentional with the ways that you speak about yourself, the way that you speak about yourself to yourself, as well as to other people. It's really about like changing the way you think to be like, I am worth it.
Yeah, and it's wild, and it's all in your head because, people could be saying that you are the coolest or the kindest or the this or that or the hottest or the sexiest, but if you don't believe that, it ain't worth shit. So it's like that is really all up to you and how you talk to yourself and treat yourself, and that is not easy to do because personally, I can be the cruelest. I can say the cruelest things to myself. And even when they're not merited, but just in my head, those voices, it's like, oh, you ain't shit, you're this, you're that. But then you got to block that and be like, no. You know what? I don't deserve that. So it's really getting in touch with yourself, and that takes time.
Definitely. Yeah. And then especially if you're, I hate this word, like a quote unquote creative. Like if you do art or you write or do anything like that, I know it's very common for us to all have really negative self-talk and thinking that no one's ever going to like the things that we publish, or no one's going to look at the things that we're doing. No one's ever going to care about it. And that is like the hardest thing to get through. And for that, it really is just like a leap of faith. You'd be like, you know what? I don't care if anyone likes it because I'm proud about what I did.
Just do it. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Like if this podcast only has one damn listener, I'm proud of the work I did in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, we reached past it's either 500 or 600 plays. Nice. And one of those two.
Good job.
Which is a very small milestone, but it is a milestone nonetheless, and I'm very proud of it. And I'm excited to see what happens.
Good job, bud.
Going forward.
Exciting.
So yeah, self-esteem is tough, but I believe in you. Keep us updated. Update on the update on your journey? Absolutely. Question mark. We're gonna move on to the next one. John, take it away.
All right, the next question is a general advice one. It says, being a gay man, what do you find hard about being gay?
This is from Craig, by the way.
Okay. I didn't know if we were supposed to say names.
Yeah, say them. Well, because it's all pseudonyms. I don't think they're real names.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Being a gay man, what do you find hard about being gay? Or if you don't find anything hard, what were some things growing up that you found hard? I think this question is enormous.
This is a huge question. There's so much that's hard. I think first off, the hardest thing I would, this is, and most of the listeners are gay, and everyone's gonna have a different answer to this, but I think this is something that we can all kind of agree on: the fact that the government is actively working to take away our rights and discriminate against us, and make it so that we can get turned away at businesses, make it so that we don't have protections. We can be turned away from jobs. They're like actively working towards all these things. I think that is the hardest thing for me. If we're talking, true tea. If we're just joking, the hardest thing is probably dealing with the rest of y'all. Dealing with the rest of y'all. I go to work every weekend and I got to deal with you. And every gay person suffers from main character syndrome. So if everybody is in the club thinking they're the main character, and I'm thinking I'm the main character, it just doesn't mesh well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually like that you went that direction because I was thinking something completely different, which is good because we kind of
cover the bases.
I was thinking. So I want to start with the second one. So if you don't find anything hard, what were some things you found hard growing up? So the first thing that comes to my mind is how crazy religious my family is, and how, I mean, to some degree they still are. But I mean,
Do you mind saying what denomination?
we grew up in some hardcore Pentecostal shit. like it was wild. And my family still holds on to a lot of that. Over the years, I think they've loosened up, they've experienced life a little bit more, and a lot of them have, I don't know, let's just say matured or grown apart from it, whatever. But that was really hard for me. And the thing is, I was never one of those people who like struggled with the idea of, am I straight, am I not? I always knew I was gay since I far back as I could remember. So knowing that, and yet growing up in some like a Pentecostal type church, that was always a struggle, because my biggest fear wasn't even what other people thought. My biggest fear was that God hates me and I'm going to burn in hell forever and in torment and all this stuff. So, I mean, screw what people think. God hates me. So that struggle was huge for me growing up as a kid.
Did you never think like, well, God made me this way?
Well, that's the weird thing, is that I never understood really. I always thought he did. Not that he did. I just knew I was always this way from the get-go.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, why have I been like this since forever? If it's not something he did, if it's not something made, and there was just so many different struggles, thoughts that you have, thoughts that come in and you just want to fight them away, hearing all these other things that different, denominations, different religions talk about. And it was just like a struggle to try to take all that in, find my place in all that. And then eventually, it wasn't until I moved out and I started living my own life that I would read like self-help books and spirituality books. And then I kind of, they were helpful, let's say this much.
Took pieces that worked and left the rest.
Pretty much.
I think that's how I view spirituality. I'm like, I'll take the parts that work and I will leave the rest.
Yeah, and I think that's a good idea. But I also do like to take in thoughts and ideas from all different type of places. And maybe me growing up like this helps me to think like that. So, I'll take in as much as I can and then form my own opinion. So that's a good thing. But just growing up, that was really tough. And then, yeah, my family's just a very, very religious, very strict. So that was rough. But I would say about now, what do I find most difficult about being gay now? I would say for me, it's kind of making new friends. Kind of as you said, like everyone wants to be that the star of the show, the main character. And I have no problem with being, on the. I don't like to be in front of the camera. I like to be behind the scenes. But I don't know. I think a lot of times people, and maybe I'm stereotyping to some degree, but a lot of people just kind of put on a show and a facade, and then you find out later that they're, not what they initially put themselves out to be, and it's like, okay, well, damn, that was disappointing. Especially when you're just trying to be yourself and not cause any drama, not start anything, and like, damn, that kind of sucked. I thought they were cool, and they're not. Whatever, that's fine. But yeah, I found that that's hard for me to make friends. And maybe it's just because I'm kind of a loner as it is, so I don't know how to really socialize.
You say that, but I think you talk really easily to people.
That's because when we're out and I've had like 2 glasses of Tito's, that always loosens things up.
Because one thing I know, I'm like, you will find a friend.
Tito's.
You will find a friend.
Because no matter where we're at,
you will find a friend. I think
yeah, not a friend, just like someone to talk to, just like an acquaintance. I don't consider, a person that I got along with for a day or two to really be a friend.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, it'd be crazy if you were like, that's my friend. Like,
well, exactly.
I don't even know her.
Exactly.
I mean, I do, but I think you, in that sense, you could find friends that way.
You could.
Quite easily,
Could. But anyways, that's kind of how I would answer that question for me. Currently, for my past, and then nowadays, those are some of the challenges that I've found. But I don't know. Like I said, it's a big question. I mean, you could come at this from so many different angles, and so many people have so many different experiences, and you could talk about that for ages. So it's a big question. One, I think you could do an entire episode on.
I know we could just be a full episode just about this.
What have been some of the challenges of your life being a gay person? Submit that and let's talk about each one.
You know what?
Because that's a big question.
Right there. Maybe that'll be next Pride Month.
There you go.
Or maybe that'll be National Coming Out Month. That's November.
There you go.
Maybe for November, I'll like specifically ask for, if not coming out stories about living as a queer person
and how you overcame them,
and this isn't our experience as gay men doesn't even come close to the experiences and the problems faced by our like trans community members as well. Which, like I said last month, make sure you are doing what you can to support our trans brothers and sisters and family, because we're all under attack. If one of us is under attack, we're all under attack. And when the leopards eating face party, when the gays against gays, then the gays against trans party, when they're done taking care of the trans people, they're gonna come right after you, sister. So seriously. Oh my god, these damn steps upstairs. Okay. I can't let it hit me. I can't. I didn't grow up religious at all. So that wasn't even something I even considered.
Yeah.
I think as a kid, I knew I was different because I liked both Daphne and Fred. I knew I liked both of them. So I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if it meant I wanted to be Fred or if I just had a crush on him and Daphne. I didn't know what. And I think early on, one of my second cousins, someone uttered a slur. They said they had dropped a balloon from a deck and they said whoever catches it. What was the exact word they used? Did they use faggot or did they use maricon? What was the word they used? It was something. Whoever caught the balloon was that. Me, not knowing what either of those words meant. I'm a kid. I'm going to grab the damn balloon. I love balloons. So that was the first time. And then someone had explained it to me. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? I was like 7. I don't know what that means. So I just didn't grow up with religion at all. So that wasn't even in my mind. It was just mostly outed by a balloon. It was mostly me trying to navigate what I was feeling and then coming to terms with what society was saying about people who were also feeling things that I was feeling.
Yeah.
And then being taught or shown what a gay person was.
Yeah.
And then trying to figure out what that meant to me, which, is hard as a child. But yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah. Okay. But again, big question. You should consider that. I think that'd be really fun to hear everybody's. I mean, even for those people who might be struggling with things, like just to hear all these different aspects of people's struggles and how we're all going through it. It may be something will resonate with someone. Be like, oh, I'm going through that too. In that way.
I'm gonna put the call out now.
It's a big. Yeah, I think it's a really big question.
Send me your coming out stories. I'm not gonna read them until November, but send them if you're like watching right now and you're like, "Ooh, that sounds really interesting. I want to do that before you forget." Send them in now. I'll hold them off till November, or any like major time of challenges that you've had living as a queer person.
Because I think too, like challenges happen not just when you're young. I mean, as you get older too, there's challenges. Being a gay person when you're older, being a gay person when you're this or you're that, or there's just so many different aspects. So I'm like, this is a huge question. Mm-hmm. You could do a lot with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will never lose the file, Votto. I'm not losing the file. But yeah, it's a good question. And if you've got stories of your challenges and how you overcame them and you want to share them and you think somebody else could benefit from them, which even if you don't think someone else could benefit from them, send them, because chances are someone can. Just hearing the stories of queer people overcoming adversity, we can never get enough of that. Mm-hmm. We don't have as many queer elders as we should. Those stories of adversity a lot of times get lost, so it's time for us to build our own.
There you go.
So keep telling your stories, even if you think it's stupid. Hell, I repeat the same 8 stories on this podcast all the time. We're gonna keep them alive.
There you go.
All right. This next question is from Gabe. It's a general question. And they write, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go, with who, and why? money aside, if I could travel anywhere, first up on my list is Thailand because I was supposed to go to Thailand in 2020. I'm sure you know where this is going. In March of 2020, I had planned a trip with my friend Corey. We were going to go to Thailand, work our way up from the southern tip up to the north, and then spend a day or two in Tokyo before heading back.
Nice. That'd be such a nice trip.
Right? And then
tell us what happened. What happened?
Like 2 weeks before we were supposed to head out, COVID-19 hit. Everyone thought it was just going to be a 1 day off of work. We came back that Monday and everybody was picking up laptops and working from home. Mm-hmm. It was sick. So the universe owes me a trip to Thailand. So that's like first up on my list of where I would go would be Thailand. And if I could go there with somebody, while I would like to travel alone, I think traveling alone is very important and a really cool thing to do. I think it would be really nice to go with you since you know so much about the country and you've been how many times?
I've been 4 times.
See, so to have somebody that's Thailand. That knowledgeable about like the local culture, the local food, you know, the good things to do, where to see, how to like most effectively spend my time, that would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. For me, I mean, I love traveling. Earlier with the introduction out, that's the one thing I was going to say about me. That's for a while. That was my become my hobby. I just really enjoy it. I enjoy experiencing new cultures and just getting out there and doing my own thing. And I love to travel alone. I just enjoy it. I can kind of do what I want when I want at a time frame. You know, there's no one there to be like, well, we should do this, or we should do that. Well, I don't like this one. Fuck out of here. I'm going. Either way, I'm going. I'm going to go do my thing. But to answer this question, I mean, where would I go in the world? I've done a little bit of traveling now. I'd say the next place that I want to go to. So I've traveled around Asia. I've gone to a couple places around Asia. One of the places in Asia that I have yet to go through, it's just been working its way up on my list, is the Philippines. But I think I also want to try to hit Central America. I'd really like to do some sort of ayahuasca retreat. And I think that's just coming from a place in my life where like this whole spiritual side of me, I just want to do a little, I don't know, ayahuasca. I think it could be some sort of enlightening moment. With who, when, and where. Well, like I said, I like to travel alone, so I'm happy to go alone. But I would like to go with you traveling especially because this last trip that we just took to New York. I mean, I think in general, we have fun. We get along. We're both pretty laid back. I mean, our couple's hobby is going to different restaurants and trying out stuff like that. And I think we're both very easygoing, so that would be fun to just try new foods, new culture, new land. So I think that'd be fun. Up and coming. I'm sure that's something that'll happen. And man, if we did go to Thailand, that'd be great because I do love Thailand. I've been there a couple times, and I'd be excited to show you. Like, oh my God, you gotta try this. You gotta try this. We're going over here. We're going over there.
Eat everything, see everything.
So
I will eat beef if it kills me. Because here's the thing, beef in America hurts my stomach.
Yeah.
When I was in France, I ate beef there, and it did not upset my stomach. I think it's just beef in America. Something about the meat industry in America, the beef fucks my stomach up.
Yeah.
Because when I was in France, I had beef, no bubble guts, nothing, no pain. So I think I can eat meat. Well, I eat meat. I think I can eat beef across the seas. Just running off a list, other places I want to go: Italy, Brazil, Mexico. Since I've only been once, and I was there for 2 hours on a cruise. Where else do I want to go? Alaska, but only during the summer, because my brother was there and had a really lovely time. He had an internship in Alaska, so he lived there for 2 months, and he was basically there all summer. And it sounded gorgeous, and there was like no darkness for like 23 hours of the day. But he did say there were giant mosquitoes.
Ooh, in Alaska?
Yes. He sent me this video of these giant mosquitoes like attacking not a window pane, but like a bug net outside of a window. It looked insane.
It's even worse.
I know. I'm like, everything aside from the giant mosquitoes, Alaska sounds
you just
really
see them
pretty.
like slowly like just ripping it open.
It's like the mist. It was truly like the mist, though. It was like dark. It covered the window. It was scary.
That sounds terrible.
But aside from that, Alaska looked gorgeous from what my brother showed me. Lots
I
of
hear
nature things.
yeah.
I want to do more national parks too.
Yeah.
I want to go see the sequoias.
My sister, Adriana, she's gone there I think like twice already, and it looks gorgeous. She loves it. And my friend Anthony, the one who's going to be coming here for Market Days, was just up there, and I'm like, yeah, it really does look pretty. It looks really pretty. So, and I've heard good things about it from everyone who's gone to check it out. So, I don't know. I like to be where it's hot and humid.
That's the thing, though. So, it is warm there in the summer, though.
Warm, probably not hot.
I know, but it's also not dark at all. And you know how I'm like, I could stay up. It'll never get dark. Great.
I want it to be like 90 degrees and humid and water. Well, there's plenty of water there. But
I'll take 100 degrees.
Yeah.
I'll take the hot heat. The humidity.
Yeah, it does seem pretty, though. So, I don't know. Lots of places to go. Pretty general question. So it's like...
we could talk about travel for
absolutely
hours and hours and hours. This next one is from Sakuro. It is a sex and love question.
All right. So, how do I let men know I'm a slut without telling them that I'm a slut?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this.
I like elongating that slut, especially since
that's how it's. I feel like it's in. Like, just the way that has to be read. You need to like a slut.
I just keep thinking of Rick and Morty. Slut, you slut dragon.
As a former, as a retired slut myself. No, I embody what a slut is. I'm still a slut. Damn it. Personally, I think it's all in the eyes. I've got very big orbs.
Yes, you do.
I have what many may call bedroom eyes, but I also have giant eyes. I feel like it's contradictory. For me, it's in the eyes. If you don't want to tell a man that you're a slut, I agree. Also, what's wrong with telling a man that you're a slut? What's wrong with that?
I think telling someone you're a slut it's not shit though. You gotta show them. Like people talk a big game. People always talking shit, but once you either show them, but I think in the eyes you really could tell somebody.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because you said people talk a big game, and the first thing I thought was everyone's mask until the roach starts flying. I don't know why. It was the first thing in my head.
But I think the eyes will honestly tell whether or not it's true.
Yeah, you gotta work on like your slut face. You don't want to look like menacing.
No, just it's with that eye contact too. Just hold that eye contact for a little while.
People are scared of eye contact.
Exactly.
If you just give someone eye contact,
that other person likes the eye contact that you're giving them, and you hold it for a little bit longer, then it's like okay,
exactly.
All right, I saw that. But don't do it too long, where then it's creepy. Just
Yeah, because you don't want to be like, God, that serial killer keeps staring at me.
Yeah. I mean, some people might like it, but
maybe,
but not probably the person you're looking for. Or maybe I don't know.
I had a customer at the bar the other day who just kept staring at me, and maybe he thought he had bedroom eyes. I thought that man was on something, and he kept talking about his 90% incarceration rate. I think he was a cop.
Wow,
I know.
What a thing to...
I know. I'm like, that's what you're bragging about is your incarceration rate.
Oh yeah, take me home.
I didn't overcharge him. I'm not in the practice of overcharging, but he asked for singles to tip the dancers. I gave him his singles. He then did not tip a single dancer. I think he got too drunk and then left. So he just left all the singles and another 20 on the bar top. So I closed out his tab and he left all the cash there. So I took the $40 for myself.
I mean, yeah.
Because that's my tip.
That was your tip.
Because I had to hear you talk about your 90% incarceration rate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for me. That's my
staring at you long enough too.
And I told him
I thought you wanted me to have it.
I told him to the dancers. I take money to the dancers. He kept trying to talk to me. I was like, talk to the dancers. Don't talk to me.
As an example of staring not going right.
Exactly. So the stare has to go right. Right. You know, don't.
It's not a stare, by the way.
It's not a stare. This is not a stare.
It's a nice little glance. And right before it becomes a little awkward, you just look away. But then always look back for a second so that they know that.
I think the common thing that gay men, not just gay men, I think this is a lot of people. It's up, down, up.
No, that just means you want to fight.
No, not like in a dangerous way.
That means can I help
that's
you?
different. See, it's all the context. No, you gotta look them in the eyes, then you look them down, then you look them back up, but centrally, not aggressively, like not like you're trying to fight him.
I think you look at them, look down, up, and then away quickly, and then come back.
Yes, that's how it is. Oh. It's not like looking them up. That means you want to fight. You look them down. Huh? That's different. Different. It's like a glance. And then when you get to a conversation, then hold eye contact.
Yeah.
And I think scientifically,
I think that's important too.
If your eye contact is being held, but you're kind of drifting toward their lips, I think that also sends out like.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I think that sends out.
That's a good point.
You know.
Quick glance at the lips.
Some other good ways to let people know.
Yeah, good one.
In the words of Amy Winehouse, you can put on your fuck me pumps. It's a lovely song about an aging strumpet going back out into the world to find a man.
Oh.
God, I love Amy.
Right. Oh. Right.
For me, it's on the eyes though. Yeah, for me.
I agree. I mean, I'm like, all right, what other ways could you
pull out that freakum dress? Which I reference every month on this podcast.
Yeah, the last two that I think you did.
I'm always talking about the freakum dress because Beyonce.
Image wise, the way you put yourself out there, you can tell people
exactly.
But still, I don't really think it matters until you either do it,
because you got to be about it,
or you let them know with those eyes. But I don't think you can really say with the eyes unless you're actually about it.
Yeah, unless you want to be really freaky, and then you just tell them straight up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, there you go.
Or you can place yourself in sluttier locations. You can go to. Well, no, because at that point you're just gonna. I was gonna be like, you just go to a bathhouse, but I don't think that. I think that's contrary to the question. The question is just how to let them know that you're a slut without telling them you're a slut.
Right, exactly.
If you're just there, they're just gonna know.
We're all there then.
Exactly. Then we're all sluts, which is fine.
It's like a given.
Which is also fine. I think this is like when you're just out and about.
How do you tell someone from across the room
that you're a slut without telling them you're a slut?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Put on a slutty little pair of shorts. I'm talking like 3-inch inseam. And just let your thighs do the rest.
There you go.
Boom, easy. This next one is a story time. This one's kind of long. Yeah, scroll down a little bit for me. Perfect. Okay. This one is from Worsty. It is a story time. They write, what would you do if someone you thought was your friend tells you that he does not like you in front of the guy that you're talking to? Here's some backstory. I have a friend, Alex, and his friend, Tom. I've hung out with Tom and Alex a couple of times, and every time we hang, it's a fun time. I consider Tom a friend as well. I've recently been talking to a guy. We'll call him Jack. When I met Jack, Alex was with me and told me that Jack was Tom's ex, and they were together for a very long time. So if you're trying to keep up, Tom is the friend's friend. Jack is the person that caller is seeing. Jack and Tom were together for a while. Mm-hmm. I continued to talk to Jack despite this and never told Tom or Jack that I knew the other person. One night I go out with some other friends and run into Jack and Tom at the club together. I knew that they were still friends and hung out, so I went up to say hi to them. After talking to Jack for a bit, he asks how I know Tom, and I tell him through Alex, who he also knows. He then brings Tom into the conversation and asks him about how we know each other through Alex. Tom says, yeah, I know him through Alex, but I don't really like OP. That's the poster. Which catches me off guard. I asked for clarification because I wasn't sure that I heard that right. He says, yeah, I don't like you. Jack is just awkwardly looking back and forth at us while I'm stunned. I ask him why he doesn't like me, and he says it's because he finds me rude, and he doesn't like rude people. To my knowledge, I have never been rude to Tom, so this came out of nowhere. This came out of nowhere to me. I felt embarrassed trying to figure out where this was coming from, but also embarrassed that he was doing this in front of Jack. Eventually, Jack tells us to stop, and we do. I haven't spoken to either of them since. Alex has tried to mediate and figure out what the issue was, which apparently an Instagram DM that I had replied to one of his stories as a joke, which he did not take as a joke. And because of that, he finds me rude. Okay. This is a lot to take in here.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a lesson in learning who you can joke with and who you cannot joke with. Because there are some people that you could consider friends, but not friendly enough that you can, throw shade at in a joking way. Like for example, me and David and Mo and all my other close friends, I can talk shit with them, and I can call them broke and whores and mm-hmm. loose holes and long backs and every name in the book, and they'll say the same to me.
Right.
But one of my friends at work, one of my coworkers,
cannot say that.
I probably would not say all that. Or to one of my friends' who I don't know, like one of David's friends who I've hung out with a couple times and I think is cool.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't joke with them like that. Cause we don't hang out just me and them. I don't know them like that. Mm-hmm. When I know them, I'll make those jokes to David in front of them about David, but not about them. So I can joke with them, but I can't joke. Like I can joke with David like that, but not their friend.
Right.
So I think this is really what it comes down to is like, you thought that you were close to Tom. Tom evidently did not see it that way. Tom was like, that's Alex's friend. And, it didn't work out. And I don't think there's much you can do there aside from continue trying to mediate between Alex and Tom and probably have a conversation and let him know, like, sorry, I didn't know we're not at that level, That's really the only thing you can do.
Exactly. Personally. That's why I'm not really saying anything, because I'm like, there's really not much you can do. That's how that person, and you're right. Like you can joke with some people, you can't joke with others. Into like on a more extreme degree, because I do the same thing with my friends. I have my friends who will say some mean ass shit to each other, and that's how we know we're close friends, because we say some mean ass shit to each other. But it's all in good fun. And who knows how distasteful this joke may have been or not, but there are some people you can talk to that like, and there are others that you can't. But I don't know. I don't feel like there's much to say, because the second someone tried to say that to me, and in front of like, oh, I don't like it, like, oh, well, damn, okay, well, you can go.
Yeah,
you don't got to say you're talking to me. Like, I'm quick to cut people out. I would have cut all of them out, all three of them. Doom.
Yeah,
you're all part of that circle. Bye. But that's me, because I'm quick to.
Well, he's talking to Jack, so he's fucking one of them. So, and then he's good friends with the other one. So if anything,
I don't know. I didn't read it as good friends.
Him and Alex are good friends, right? Well, they said I have a friend.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming it sounds like he's closer to Alex than he is to Tom.
A couple times to me.
I think he means hung out with both of them a couple times.
Okay,
I think I think for
see, I'm quick to cut.
all intents and purposes, he's closer to Alex and he's fucking Jack. To me, that means Tom gets outvoted.
Yes,
he can get
to start.
And you can go one of two ways. You can continue trying to mediate it with Alex because you're like, this is someone I'm going to be around. I should probably figure this out, right? And that's one way. Or you could tell Alex, Tom don't like me. I got nothing to say to Tom.
Yeah.
So let me know when he's going to be around so I know to keep it cordial or to not be over it.
Fair. Done deal.
Those are kind of your two options.
I think it's funny too how this guy's all like, I don't like you because you're rude. And what a rude thing to say in front of like other people.
Right.
Like,
in front of mixed company. If you're so worried
about people being rude or not, why would you be so rude as to say something like that in front of mixed company? Like, you could have told me in 100 other different ways. You could have told me back on that DM that I sent you.
In the DM.
Said, damn, that
I didn't
rude.
like that joke.
I don't
that
like you anymore.
Nice, right?
Oh, perfect. Cool. We ain't got to talk.
Like,
That's
oh,
fine.
I thought it was a joke. Sorry, my bad. I didn't know you thought that was rude.
Who's rude?
And it could have got squashed that day.
Exactly.
So really, like, I'm not saying this is on Worsty, because I don't think it's on Worsty. I think it's mostly on, what's his name? Tom? I think it's mostly on Tom.
Yeah, Tom's a rude one.
Because that is something really rude to say. You know what it reminds me of? Kiki's baby daddy. Bringing shit in public that don't need to be in public.
Exactly.
Which I'm still heated about.
Mm-hmm.
And I will probably talk about in the second segment of the show.
I figured you were going to bring that up.
I will talk about it in the second segment
Jake's
of the show.
Livid about. I mean, we both kind of are, but you more. He keeps sending me stuff like, oh.
He's playing in my Virgo sister's face. Yeah. I cannot stand for this.
Said. Look what else he did. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm pissed at him. And when Kiki shows up with a woman, then I will be more than happy. Because that kid is gonna have 2 mamas. I believe in it.
Why not? Yeah.
2 mamas and a daddy, because I'm sure he's gonna still be part of the kid's life. And he, well enough he should be. But he also needs to get his shit together. But we're gonna talk about that later. That's in the second segment. You're not gonna hear it on stream. If you're listening to the podcast, you'll hear it after the break.
I know you've been waiting. I know you've been waiting to bring that up.
I'm getting heated. I can't do it. But Worsty, while I do think, some of the culpability is on you to be more mindful as to who you're joking with in the future. Most of this, I do think, is on Tom in terms of not handling shit in private and handling it in front of Jack.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And part of me wonders, did he say it specifically in front? Does he know that you're fucking Jack?
Right.
Because if him and Jack dated for a while, maybe they're still really close, and Jack's telling him like, "Oh yeah, I'm hooking up with Worsty."
Yeah. And
then maybe he's just trying to be cunty in front of you and trying to distance Jack and you.
Trying to see what he can do to dissolve that.
Exactly.
Whichever way it's going, screw Tom. Tom's just cut him out.
Give us an update, because let us know which of your options you take. Are you going to mediate it out? Are you going to say fuck him? Let me know when he's over so I know not to be over, or I know to keep it cute. Are you going to call him out on his shit? You should have handled that in private and not publicly. Pulling a Kiki's baby daddy on me.
Doesn't sound like Tom's even worth it.
I don't think he's worth it, but I think if this is someone you're going to be around, because he's like friends with Alex and does dated Jack, or whatever. Like if you run in similar circles,
that's not this person's friend.
I'm just saying, if you run in similar circles, it might be worth at least the good old college try to see if you can remedy some form of détente. I'm not saying you got to be Tom's best friend.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that at all. You don't even have to be Tom's friend. At least a détente where y'all can be in the same room. Like the Cold War. You are the USA and they are Russia. And you can give each other dirty looks, but I'm not going to shoot that bomb because mutually assured destruction. Boom.
Okay.
Boom.
There you go.
Yep. That's it.
Good job.
I'm using my history knowledge today.
Yeah.
You want me to read this one because it's kind of long, or do you want to read it?
Yes, that's too many words for me to.
That's what I figured, and that's why I put it under me.
Yeah.
Let me drink some water before I do it.
I read that. I was like, I hope I don't got to say this one because that's a lot of words. I'm going to be exhausted.
Exactly. So I'm handling it. See, I know you. I know you. That's why I was like, let me give this one to myself. This is from Jay. It is a story time. It's kind of long. And there's some mild trigger warnings, I would say, just for relationship betrayals and things like that. So if you're sensitive to that stuff, I don't know, skip ahead to the second segment. But not even, because we're talking about Kiki's baby daddy. So I don't know if that's not for you, then that's not for you. Anyways, this is from Jay. It's a story time. They write.
What a trigger.
I don't know. You people can't do anything. I just wanted to tell y'all about the worst 6 months of my entire fucking life. This all happened a few years ago, but I'm still very much dealing with the trauma today. Basically, I, a 23-year-old bisexual male, was in a relationship with this girl, a 25-year-old bisexual, for about 2.5 years. I can confidently say that we were in love and things were going well. That is, until the last few months of our relationship. We began to slowly grow apart, and on my birthday, she got me a card that read, "You're so vain, you probably think this day is about you," and then proceeded to flirt all night with my old roommate and ex-best friend. We can call him Dale. Dale shortly thereafter moves to Oregon, and my relationship with my partner just gets worse. She began to accuse me of cheating, even though we had talked about us both being bisexual, that it would be okay to explore our gay sides with other people. I only ever Snapchatted and randomly would kiss a guy at the bar. Nothing too serious, but apparently that wasn't okay with her, even though we had talked about it previously. Anyways, she breaks up with me one night, and before I could even get my shit back from her apartment, I see on Instagram that she's in Oregon, hooking up with Dale, and posting photos of them holding hands and kissing. Naturally, I was mortified. This felt like such a huge betrayal, and I've never received an apology from either of them to this day. When she gets back to Chicago, I finally get my shit back from her and find out that all my friends that I had introduced her to, oh my god, my contacts are like slipping on my eye. Oof. Okay, Future Jake, cut this out. Where was I?
All my friends that
All my friends that I had introduced
to.
her to are at her place and basically have taken her side, although they claimed they weren't taking sides. They didn't even bother to try to reach out to me or try to comfort me in any way. A couple of months go by and I'm really in a depression hole. I wasn't taking care of myself and I was crying almost every night. And my roommate that I was living with at the time, who were also my supposed friends from college, all came together and voted to kick me out of the house because they said I, quote unquote, wasn't a good fit as their roommate. So there I was, extremely depressed, alone, basically homeless, and nearly everyone who I thought loved and cared about stabbed me in the back. I truly have never felt more alone in my life than I did then. At that point, I was very seriously considering ending my life. This is where the trigger warning comes in. But thankfully, I didn't. I eventually found my dream apartment that ironically is literally 1 block away from my old roommates. I now have a great job with a good salary and weekend gigs that bring in extra cash. I'm still very hesitant about who I allow into my life, but I think the moral of this story is to be very careful about who you call a friend and who you think has your back. Also, keep trying no matter what. How many times life will knock you down on your ass? Keep kicking while you're down. Always get back up and fight. Okay. It was a heavy one. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot to parse through. So let's kind of take through bit by bit. First thoughts?
My first thought is I just like the way it ended. As I was reading it before, I was just like, my gosh, like what sort of, not that it's this person's fault, but like what sort of circles is he hanging on with that everyone was just able to kick him out like that? Again, not its fault, but damn, that really sucks. Those are some people are shitty, man. People can be assholes. Yeah. But then I like the way that, you know, he was eventually, even though he got down in the dumps by it, which is completely fair and understandable, he was like, you know what? I pulled myself up. I got it together. Screw this whole situation. I'm in a much better spot, and it's a lesson for me, and I want to share that lesson with others, and you know, and to be careful with some people that are out there, and just do your thing. And,
that's just got to be the hardest part for me to even comprehend is like when you're already down and the people that you think are your support group think that you know, the people that you think will catch you when you're down are like, get the fuck out of this house.
Yeah.
That would destroy me. That would kill me. The audio is echoey because there are 2 microphones. The recording probably won't be echoey. But this will be. Because I tested it earlier and it was fine. I don't know. Anyways, this slowly moves the microphone over. I don't know. When I tested it earlier, it was fine.
Okay.
But who knows? Let's see. There's parts of this that I want to go back specifically to.
I think it's kind of tough too. Like for this person being bisexual, I would imagine it's kind of harder to find a partner who's also, or at least you feel is on that same, you know, same level, same wavelength, understands you and allowing you to explore that. And like, oh, this is awesome. Like I have a good thing going on here. I'm going to say space. And then this person sounds like a freaking like gaslighting, some sort of narcissist who really like built someone up only to just enjoy seeing them tear down. Like there is something else going on here, because
it really sounds
it seems like they put in a lot of effort to destroy this person, not just mentally within their relationship, but just everybody else around them. So I feel like they just got into a bad situation with a really fucked up asshole. This was like a coordinated that person effort. Took time to meticulously create a plan to destroy them, because that's a lot of freaking work. Like who tries to put in all that work to hurt somebody like that?
All my friends that I introduced you to on your side,
right?
First of all, I'm taking roster of all my friends at that point. What do you mean you're on her side? Also, it just sounds like she was really so into the other roommate, Dale.
Yeah.
Like the second she found out about Dale, she was already making machinations. How can I get this relationship out so I can go be with Dale in Oregon?
Let me create some sort of excuse so I can get out of this relationship and make it seem like they're the problem, not me.
Exactly. Not to quote a Taylor Swift lyric, but it's her. She's the problem. It's her.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you were able to fight back from this and are, seemingly in a way better place down the street from your apartments from your roommates, and I hope you walk past their apartment all the time, singing
Looking
loud
good,
as hell,
head held high,
yeah. Let them see out the window. Let them see you. Let them see you thriving.
All right.
Fuck them. I'm not saying arson.
Right.
Because you're better than that. They would stoop to arson, but you wouldn't, because you're better than that.
But you could.
Wink. Wink. I'm just saying nobody would blame you.
Right.
If there was a fire at the...
Some people might even consider helping you.
But for legal reasons, we are joking.
Yeah.
We are joking. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah.
The famous thief, Arsene. Exactly. Not Onenne. Exactly. See? Yeah, this is just such a heavy topic to talk about.
It is, but I feel like since it wrapped up, it's like if they would have just ended it, like, what do I do?
Oh, that would have been even worse.
I think then we would really be able to go on and on. Oh my God, you can do this. I hope you're okay. Blah blah blah. But I love that they wrapped it up and like, okay, good.
The first
you're okay. Everything's good. Like
even now, because they say they're still dealing with the trauma of it. You know,
well, they'll probably deal with that for a long time.
We can't really help with that, but you know who can give you the tools is an actual licensed therapist. And I hate to be saying this so close to the end of the podcast, but I try to say it up front every time, and I just always keep forgetting. We are not licensed therapists, and all the advice we give is for entertainment value. Mm-hmm. That being said, obviously, first off, you say you have a good salary, so hopefully that means hopefully they got benefits. If they got benefits, if not, find a sliding scale. Try to get yourself in some therapy to really deal with all of this. Oh my God, excuse me. Really deal with all of this fuckery. You know, this is a very heavy situation between the girlfriend betraying you with your roommate that you were friends with, all your friends betraying you on her side, to, you know, coming so close to, you know, not just self-harm, but like the big, you know, get in therapy. That's really all we can say.
And maybe and maybe for someone who, again, I'm obviously not a therapist, but going through this story, I feel like there's that first red flag there. And for someone who has gone through such a trauma and is still dealing with it, like maybe really pay attention to that first red flag. If you see something going down the same path as that first time, just cut it off there. Be like, all right, nope. I can see where this is going. Let me not continue to get more invested because some pretty shitty things have happened to me in the past. And I'm not trying to do that again initially, because he's saying that, you know, he and this person had an agreement. You know, they were allowed to explore their you know, their gay sides, and that was okay. But then the other person was bringing it up, saying, "Oh, you're cheating on me," blah blah blah. It's like, yo, we agreed to this. We had an agreement. So now that you're going back on this, all right, red flag.
And it sounds like she wasn't even exploring her gay side. She was just straight up exploring her straight side with Dale. So she was like, you know, it seems like one of those situations where like one person in the relationship calls out the other person for cheating, when in reality it's self-projection and they're the one either cheating or really close to it or working toward it. You know what I mean? Exactly. It sounds like that is really what happened between her when she called you out.
Because she'd been looking at Dale.
Exactly.
She wanted to.
And the second y'all broke up, her ass was in Oregon.
Right.
Oregon?
Oh my God, I had the same conversation with my boss the other day.
So what do you say?
Oregon or Oregon? I say Oregon.
Oregon? I kept on just saying Oregon, but I think it's because I was thinking about it too hard. But I think in conversation, I would say Oregon.
I don't think there's a wrong or right way, but I say Oregon.
Or you say Florida or Florida? Wait, no.
I don't have a Spanish accent, so
that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
I don't say
that's not what
Florida.
I meant. I meant Florida or Florida.
I say Florida, whichever. That probably sounds pretty Wisconsin.
Say Florida. How else do people say it?
What is that accent?
Florida. So you dropped the I.
Kind of, yeah.
Florida. Yeah, Florida.
It's I guess I do.
Floruduh. Florida. Not Florida.
I don't say Florida.
Not Florida.
Florida. Sound like some Spanish
previews. Shut up.
No, I say Florida.
Okay. Cool.
Anyways, yeah, good.
Dave,
good story time.
Thanks for the story. Update us on anything else, or I'm glad you're in a better place. If you get some therapy, let us know. We just want to hear. We want to make sure you're good.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear back from this person, to hear if they're still really dealing with like being able to trust somebody again, even if that's like the update. I'm still having so much trouble.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
Or if hey, I've gone through another couple of relationships and this was hard and this wasn't hard, and or maybe you're just I'm over it. It was a lesson. I don't know. There could be all different ways that people
give us any form of update, because it would be. I would like to hear more from them.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I feel like this also falls under that umbrella of times of adversity and overcoming that we talked about earlier. Yep. So I think this this falls under that umbrella, and someone else hearing you go through all this could even if they're not going through the same thing, which I think would be wild if it was so much of the same thing, but they could hear this and be like, okay, they did that, I can get through it.
Or maybe even like that just happened to me and I'm in a bad place. Hearing that someone else has gone through it and has also come through, it's like, all right, that helps. Good entries.
That was the last question we had. Mm-hmm. So that means we are going to take a break, and we're going to do the second segment of the podcast. I know. I'm sorry, y'all. I know. It's time. Just make sure you submit questions for next month, and then we can just keep it going for 2 hours. Right. But I know this man don't talk that much, and I had to set the question length at a place where I thought he would.
I thought it was gonna be a lot more questions. So when I saw just these few, I was like, oh, thank God.
See?
Oh, thank God.
See, I know my man.
No, I mean, it's fun. Your podcasts are great. And I was nervous to come on here, obviously. I was nervous to come on here, but I was also like, oh, I can't be on here for too long because I'm going to start getting even more nervous. I don't know if you saw me earlier, I was shaking here. And I was like, let me stop because it's probably going to show up on the mic. Stop fidgeting. Not shaking as in like terrified, but I always move my leg and I was like, oh shit, I should stop because that mic's probably moving. Anyways, I think
we'll see.
It's been fun.
We'll see in the edit when I'm editing it. We'll see what happens.
Watch the whole thing's ruined.
Can I ask a question now? You can ask a question right now. If you ask it right now. While he types that, what are we doing for our anniversary?
Going to the Renaissance Fair. And I'm excited because we haven't been there. Well, I haven't been there in a long time. It's always fun. It's a good time.
I've never been.
Yeah. It's a good time. And we're going to do a whole little cosplay. So we're going to dress up. I still got to get my costume.
I got to make my D&D character sheet to really get into the character. I got to write a backstory. Yeah. I'm an actor. Mm-hmm. I got to get in my
character. No, I just got to figure out what the hell I'm going to wear because
I'm a gentlemanly orc.
I like to actually sew and create all my...
It's very high concept.
Yeah.
It's basically a drag queen.
I'm going to be at the
when John says he's dressing up,
watch.
When he says he's dressing up, he's not fucking around. He is going big.
I'm sewing. Yeah. I'm doing all that.
Okay, but the question that they wrote, what is it like dating someone younger than you? Any challenges you face? This is something for you.
Jeez. It's honestly something that I never, ever, ever wanted to do or thought about doing. Actually, I've only dated older men. I think even when I was younger, I was just more mature. Like I never really resonated with other people my age. So the thought of dating Jake was a big challenge for me because just that idea of a number or age being an issue. But what I can learn or find out as we spend time together is Jake is very mature. Sometimes I would say even more so than me. You're the calm one, I think. But no, he's just very well put together, and it's almost like age really isn't something that I need to consider in this whole thing. It took me a while to try to get over that idea, but again, we get along very easily, and he's mature, he's got his stuff together. I really like that you shouldn't be trying to build something, You're trying to build something here in your life, and that's important. You don't want someone who's just like doing nothing with their life. So I was like, all right, I see some potential there. See, see how this goes. But yeah, it was an issue with me early on, and I think that was part of the reason too why I was like, nah, let's just keep talking. I'm not sure about dating you. I'm not sure about dating you. But over time, and you were very consistent. I don't think you really changed from when I first met you up until now.
I think I changed. I think I have better hair and better skin.
Well, you do. Personality wise, I think you've proven to be who you were when I first met you, and that being a person who's just mature, has your stuff together, and I think age doesn't really need to factor in at this point. So it's something I still think about for sure, but
here's the advice:
not often. So
you gotta play the long game. I'm not gonna reveal to him that I'm insane until we're like 15 years in.
That's okay.
At that point, my jaw will unhinge. I will grow 2 leathery wings out of my back. I will reveal that I have hooves on my feet. Horns will grow out of the curls at the top of my head. And then I will devour him in his sleep. And then he can't get away.
That's fine.
Boom.
I have demons in my closet too, so it'll be a royale battle.
Oh, great. Can't wait. I'll see you in year 15. When I become the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
And we'll be back with the second segment. If y'all want to hear that, you got to listen to the podcast. Did you want to let the people know where they can follow you or no? That's up to you.
I guess. I mean, I don't think there's anything really to follow.
That's why I was like, I don't know. Because a lot, most of the people I have on here have things to promote. So I'm like,
yeah, I don't. My personal Instagram is at Mendez on the Move. You can follow. I have like 4 or 5 YouTube,
and they're great. I love them.
So as I said earlier, really one of my only hobbies is traveling. I love to travel. That's my thing. So I have a couple of videos on YouTube if you want to go take a look at them.
Really good.
I'm not trying to promote them or anything,
but they're such good travel videos. They're so nice.
They're there. Check them out. But yeah, I'm not promoting anything. But feel free to follow them. That's fine.
They're great. They're very well produced. It's a good travel video.
Thanks.
We're gonna sell it to a travel channel.
There we go.
They're gonna pick it up, and then you'll get your TV show. Mendez on the Move.
Mendez on the Move.
Boom.
We're moving.
Keep it kicking. All right, friends. Everyone on the stream, I will catch up with y'all later. The next time I will be live, I'll be playing more Persona 4. We're gonna probably beat Yukiko's castle, and then if you want to hear the second segment, make sure you tune into the podcast, which will be out this weekend. I'm hoping I get all the editing done this week. It's shorter. This one's we're usually these things run 2 hours. We're at like an hour 15.
Yeah.
Plus the second segment will only be another 10 minutes. So it should be out this weekend. Don't quote me on it.
Someone said nice meeting you. Nice meeting you too. I don't know who that is, but
wait. I think you met Bado, no?
Yeah.
I think you did.
You gotta show me a picture.
I'll show you a picture.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I never remember anybody's names, but anyways.
We'll catch y'all later. Bye, friends.